Okay. The whole shade here looks in pretty good condition. Let's move over to the other one, Claude. Let's move to the right. Here comes the sun.
You want to get your visor?
Let's turn the light off.
Brilliant. Lights off.
Thank you.
Story, you want to look under there and see the legs touch?
Right, they are, the forward one is no problem there.
Jeff Hoffman now opening the doors to the aft shroud, the location where the rate sensor units are located. Again, 2 of these rate sensor units will be changed out.
Endeavour Houston for Tom.
Go ahead.
The RSUs have been powered off. They will complete their spin down at 1926.33.
Okay, copy 1926.33. About 5 minutes, complete spin down. That looks good, thanks.
The door is opening by itself. Claude, let's go over and get this door open.
Okay. Okay, you might evaluate, Jeff, if you think they're going to stay put or not.
Exactly.
Tom Akers aboard Endeavour,
Inside, I don't,
choreographing with the crew members.
I don't think I see anything that's going to surprise us.
Good. Good, us too.
Okay, Claude aft and to the left.
And Tom Akers is passing on to the Jeff Hoffman that the rate sensor units have been powered off, and the spin down of the gyro packages takes about 5 minutes or so.
Okay, the doors are very loose on the hinges. Let me just give it a little push, you can see. But it seems like it's happy to stay open.
Okay.
If I give it a push, it moves, but I think we're in good shape. Well, let's drive over and check the other door, Claude.
Okay, let's go there.
Okay, I'm not going to touch the seal. Inside of the seal looks good. Look at the view down there, Jeff. Oh my goodness, it's the whole way.
Well, we're looking at, again, this is part of the EVA task, is for Claude Nicollier to move the robot arm about the work site that the 2 crew members were just in. This is a view from the end effector camera inside the aft shroud, some of the star trackers visible, as well as the rate sensor units, including the 2 that were just changed out by Story Musgrave and Jeff Hoffman.
Watching me shimmy down this thing with my feet. Who's that with a white hat on? That Claude?
It's Cubby with his Aggie hat.
Oh, I see him. Perhaps if you'll move me in just a little closer, I'm going to have a closer look at the...
Okay, Jeff, I'll bring you in about a foot.
Boy, I'm driving in.
Hey, you want me to move away?
Just a little bit, yeah. Okay, that's good, Chuck.
Okay.
Okay, the boat did come out further, Tom. millimeters.
Okay, copy.
The washer is hanging in there. It's so loose, I can now turn it with my fingertips, the bolt.
Copy. Will it come out anymore?
That's what I'm looking at. And I'm keeping my finger up against the washer. And the answer is yes, it's coming out, and I think I'll be able to get it engaged.
It's going to hang in there and work, you think, to tighten it up?
Well, we'll find out. But at least that'll keep it secure. Like I said, no, the whole bolt came out.
We understand all that.
Okay, so Jeff, I guess that bolt is secure there now, right?
I'd like to drive it in a little bit more with a power tool so it's coming out the, so it's in a few more turns. I mean, right now I've tightened it as much as I can with my fingers. I'd like to put 2 turns on it with the tool.
And is that okay, Houston, if he puts a couple of turns on the bolt to make sure it's really secure?
Your go to do that, Tom.
Okay, let's double check tighten on our wrench.
Yep. It's tightened. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Okay, Jeff, let's put up the RSUs and start thinking ECUs. And Houston, what are we going to do about orbiter attitude for ECUs? Are we going to be able to change attitude with the doors in this config?
We're talking about it.
Drop.
This is Mission Control Houston. The plan now is to leave the doors where they are right now and give the ground some time to think about it and look at the photos that Kathy Thornton sent down via the electronic still camera of the bolt latches, and have the 2 crew members go on to the next step, which is to prepare the solar array carrier for the next day's activities to replace the twin solar arrays. At this point, the door assembly on the where the rate sensor units are located is comprised of about 5 different latches, 1 in the center and 2 on each end. The one in the center is locked in place, and the last step that Jeff Hoffman just performed was to just tighten that the latch a little bit, just to make sure that it's engaged before he moves on to the next task.
See what they want to do. Here we go, Jeff.
Camera looking forward. Might even be able to see some of the crew inside the cabin walking around by the windows. But Story is in preparation of getting an extra battery for the power tool. Like power tools down here that work on batteries, they don't last very long.
Power tool. I could bring in this power tool. If there's any question as to whether it's a battery or a tool, I could bring in this tool. Well, why don't we just take a battery, Story? You've got your tool that hadn't been used much, right?
Okay.
Two astronauts are approaching 4 hours into the spacewalk. Again, continuing in the change out of the electronic control unit boxes. These boxes interface with the rate sensor units that have already been changed out. Crew member Tom Akers inside the shuttle. The orbiter officially will move into darkness in about 5 minutes or so. He's been serving throughout this spacewalk as the coordinator with the 2 crew members out in the payload bay, and Kathy Thornton has been primarily responsible for downlinking in real-time photographs using an electronic still camera for evaluation by payload community and flight controllers here on the ground.
And
or less, using your calibrated muscles, I guess. Meanwhile, Jeff should try to make either the top bolt or the second from the top. There is some indication here that maybe the door is slightly skewed and that pulling down on the right door might help in getting it fully sealed. I'll copy.
Okay, beginning with step one, we want to go loose.
Okay, that's it. Okay, thanks. Take it from there. Okay. And that is a two-person job, closing this up for your Essex. So the one that I had attached to the Essex? Yes. Yeah, that comes back to my mini workstation. There? Clyde and Saxon been getting a workout on that arm today. Muscle, man. It's a wonderful machine. Really works well. Still been working on it in the club.
Jeff right now using the power tool as a manual wrench.
Really struggling.
And only go about 8 turns, Jeff.
This is a quite labor-intensive task when you start to think about that they've been out for 6 hours, and the hand is one of the first things to fatigue because it's a very labor-intensive thing to work against the pressure suit of the gloves. The gloves on the suit are like balloons, and if you've ever blown up a rubber glove, the fingers tend to stand up, and that's exactly what the glove is doing. So when you have to close your hand, you're working against...
About 6 turns on, and then it felt like it was getting a little harder, so I stopped.
Okay.
You're working against the gloves.
We really had a hard time getting it started. I had to do it mostly by hand, even though I used it to tighten it to 23.
Yeah, and let's keep track of turns, and I don't think we want to go more than 12. I think that's about the limit where we got in trouble before, Jeff.
Okay, now, Barry, how are you coming? I'm ready when you are. Here it is. Okay.
And Story Musgrave just passed the Essex wrench now. Capcom
23.
referred to the mushroom on the Essex wrench. That's that brass-colored circular portion, and that's installed on the wrench just to allow the EVA crew member to turn a wrench with a lot more facility than just a normal wrench like you and I use down on the ground. And as I mentioned, 6 or so hours outside, the hands start to become a little bit fatigued. I suspect they're approaching that point at this point.
You're going to get to the very bottom one unless you don't think there's any problem at all latching it, right?
No, that's no problem at all. Thing that I can't see. That's something to consider. We keep one door open.
You mean with the left door, right?
That's correct. In other words, well, that's right. The right door I can push inside the Wick labyrinth seal with no problem. And the left door, well, the left door by itself I can also.
Yeah, okay.
It's when the two come together.
Understand. Okay, well, let's try to...
Actually, hold on a minute.
Okay.
Hold on a minute. I'm putting down my... It looks to me like if I'm just doing it at the top, I can get them to come together. So let me do that, and you hold the bottom. Okay, let me go down. I'll go down there then. It's out a little bit in height. I'm a free floater. You know, it takes me a while to get on. I realize that. Okay. I'm just going to hold here. I think this may do it, Tom.
Okay.
Okay, actually, Story, can you do the handle bolt?
And Houston, if you copy, Jeff's just working, putting the doors back together and thinks he's found a way that seems to close the gap, and we're going to try that, if that's okay.
Press on, Tom. If you've got a way to do it, do it.
All right.
Okay, you got the handle bolt. Pulled out here. Huh? Are you ready to do the handle? No, don't do it yet.
Okay. Okay, Houston, copy.
Okay, now do it.
Target 2, body vector 3, 180 Omicron, A auto burn at 0032.
That's good readback.
Leave it there. But I've got the top one in.
Hey, Story, do you have the handle latch closed?
I'm about to. But wait a minute, the bottom one isn't coming right. We got to go and work on that. So, and it might be these striker plates. Watch your feet, sir. When the lower part is closed, I can't get the upper part closed. Now Story's got the lower part back up. I'm going to open this door a little bit.
Jeff, could you drop down and get a little more purchase towards the middle?
I'm setting it toward 23, but I'm not taking